Breaking news overnight, auto workers striking against General Motors. Phil LeBeau joins us live from Detroit. Do you remember covering the last strike, Phil?
Yes. The one in 2007?
Yes.
Joe, I wouldn't even call that a strike. I was here. In fact, I was right at this plant. When they walked off the job, they were smirking. They were like, we're on strike. Everybody knew it was a 2-day strike that was more for show than anything else. This is far different. In fact, we've got some fresh reporting on just how far apart the UAW and General Motors are. Sources who I've talked with who are familiar with the negotiations from the UAW side of things says that they would like to see greater guarantees in terms of jobs for their workers. They also are worried about the use of temporary workers. They don't believe that General Motors has made enough of a commitment to lower the percentage of temporary workers that will be used. From GM's perspective, talking with sources familiar with how the company has approached these talks, General Motors has apparently put on the table putting an electric pickup truck manufactured here at the Hamtramck plant. This is one of the plants scheduled to be shut down by the company, or at least idled by the end of this year. And they've also talked about putting an electric vehicle battery plant somewhere in the Lordstown, Ohio area. So there are areas where the two sides believe that they're making an effort, but they're still far apart. Another issue, healthcare costs. And look at the difference in terms of how much a UAW worker is responsible for compared to the average American worker. They pay just 3% of their health care costs. The average for the American worker, it's about 28%. In terms of inventory for General Motors and how much this might be costing the company, from a dealer perspective, GM's got 11 weeks worth of inventory. So it's fine. You're not going to see a drop-off in the number of pickup trucks or SUVs in showrooms anytime soon. That's likely not going to be noticed at least for 4 or 5 weeks. That's when you might start to see a slowdown in the number of vehicles there. One last note, guys. In terms of how much this costs General Motors, it is estimated by Credit Suisse that they're going to be losing anywhere between 7,500 and 8,000 vehicles of production per day, which works out to about $50 million as far as an impact. The two sides go back to the negotiation tables later this morning, 10 a.m. Guys, back to you.
Hey, Phil, I can understand why the employees behind you would have a huge incentive to strike if that plant is one of the ones that's been targeted to be shut down anyway. It seems like they have nothing to lose to go to this. What percentage of the union members are in plants that have been slated to close down? And do you get the feeling that the union's members are equally concerned in other plants and are just as willing to go to the bat?
Yes, they are, Becky. Yeah. It's not just this plant. And it's not just that these guys are striking because this plant is scheduled to be idled and potentially closed later this year. It's a nationwide strike at all the UAW plants. Their chief complaint is this: General Motors has right-sized its production, in the words of GM executives, bringing down too much capacity here in the United States. At the same time, Becky, the number of vehicles built by General Motors and imported from GM plants in Mexico continues to grow. And from the UAW perspective, they don't understand it. They don't understand why a plant is being idled here in the U.S. while production continues to grow in Mexico. That's at the crux of what's going on between the union and General Motors.
Wow.